it is good if Faker plays Rune Glaze Ezra. We're going to allow it. We'll see what happens. Bad idea. Well, picks and bans for our final game in our first best of 3 of the night. KT over on the blue side, SKT on the red side, as we mentioned. And Rumble and Rise going to be the first 2 bans.
So, similar bans to last game. The Rumble, not so much of a surprise. There's the Ezreal.
Yeah.
It's taking it out for the Maokai. I think that's smart. Or the Corki. Something they had banned out on the blue side last game. Callista. Now, will the last ban for SK Telecom be Kog'Maw?
Yeah, I wonder. I still feel like you need to avoid the Juggernaut. You can't let KT have that again.
I think you ban the Kog'Maw. I think if you're KT, you ban the Maokai instead of the Corki. And then we move from there. Ooh.
Alistar. Well,
Interesting.
Wolf did make a lot of plays, as he usually does on that champion.
Alistar fell all the way through picks and bans in the first match.
Yeah, there's a Kog'Maw ban from SKT, so just playing it safe. And it'll be that Corki first pick. That's a bit of a risk, to say the least.
Arrow is also just not a good Corki player. That's just true. It's something that he's played once this season.
Sivir is still open, of course. Like, how does this really hurt SK Telecom? I feel like keeping the Corki away from SKT is not as good for KT as just taking Sivir, you know?
I agree. I think KT should play to their strengths instead of trying to deny Bang. Sure,
Absolutely.
Bang has an insane Corki win rate. He's 23-1 in his career, but to put that in perspective, Arrow is 9-14 on Corki for a less than 40% win rate.
Yeah.
Not sure this is when you bring out the Corki if you're KT Rollster.
Is it where you bring out the Lucian if you're SKT, though? It's going to be the Rek'Sai, and yeah, they're going to lock in the Lucian as well.
So Lucian Rek'Sai, of course, we've seen Bang hard carry games on the Lucian, and he just wants a favorable 2v2 matchup against the Corki, which I think is very smart. We know Arrow's not a good Corki player. If Arrow gets dominated in lane by a Lucian, I don't think there's a way that Arrow really comes back on this Corki, a champion that he's not very good on to begin with.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be Gragas and Thresh for KT. So at least Peekaboo still gets that champion. Did make some plays with it, yes, last game, even if it was leading into a loss. Will they take the Shen away from Someday? Honestly, the Shen has not seemed like a gigantic threat. It was good in game 1, not so great in game 2. Can you just keep playing Denari here, maybe?
Well, what's interesting is how far Maokai has fallen down. And why this is happening is because KT wants SKT to show their mid and their top laner right now because they don't want to give Marin a Fizz counter pick into their Maokai. Now, KT would love to play Maokai. They would love it. But that means SKT is just going to take the Maokai themselves. Now, this is dangerous because guess what? Someday's also a Fizz player.
Yeah.
And we already know that SKT wants standard lanes because they want the Lucian going up against the Corki.
I'm a bit surprised. You know, maybe they just want him to take that Fizz, too. Marin is saying, you know what, I can just play safe. I'm not going to give up kills to this Fizz. I learned my lesson in game 1 about playing unsafely. Are they not even going to counter pick it? They've got to be a bit intimidated by this. They're like, well, why would they pick the Maokai? They must have an answer to the Fizz, right?
I guess. I mean, obviously, the Gnar is still a very good pick into the Maokai. You can get a lot of harassment down on him and try and take his tower early. So they will be going with a very standard composition here.
Yeah.
They're a bit heavy on the magic damage, but that's okay. They have the Azir, which has been one of Nagne's best champions. We've seen it banned against him consistently, and it was just like it was in game 1 of this series.
Now, if these get locked in, which you would think they would be. Oh, okay, switching over to Shen. Someday really, really liking that Shen tonight. Do you think this is a Varus situation for Faker?
Ooh, probably not, because there's a Gragas that's going to remove you from the back line.
What do you play? And do you bring out the Vel'Koz? Yet another champion for Faker. I doubt it.
Well, honestly, with the AP changes, Vel'Koz is probably better than he was in previous patches.
Yeah, but you'd think he'd be even more vulnerable to Gragas.
Vel'Koz is actually good here because there are a lot of stuns from Maokai and Annie to keep people immobile while you ult them.
True.
It's actually not a terrible pick, honestly.
It's just going to be Master Yi. It's grab the Master Yi.
Now remember, Faker also likes to play Aurelia into Azir.
Yeah, that's true. The mid Aurelia has been something he's had a lot of success with into this Azir pick. TF, ooh. Okay. Be fun to see Faker play TF, but it looks like it could just be that Victor. Safer pick. Yep, there it is, and Faker's Victor is pretty terrifying too.
Yeah, this has been his most played champion in the summer season. He's 6-0 on it so far this season. He is professionally undefeated on Victor.
Yeah, I believe in the first round of this season, Victor was the only champion Faker played more than once.
Yes, that is true.
Yep.
So
there we have our lineups. A lot of damage coming in for both teams potentially. It's interesting. Both teams very, very pokey, some decent engage, decent pick potential. Who do you give the edge to here?
SKT,
Comp-wise.
because Faker's playing Victor.
Well, I mean, just take away the players. Forget the players. What do you think about the compositions? For a moment.
I think very standard compositions from both teams. You have decent engage from both sides. Very poke-based with Corki and Azir. Siege edge, maybe a little bit to KT, but I mean, frankly, these are just very well-balanced standard compositions right now. There's not really too much to say about either one until we get to see some action on the map. But
what more could you ask for going into a game 3?
yeah, but this is the thing about Faker's Victor, is we see how early he can get towers down, and his roaming on this champion, basically he can take over an entire game by bullying the other mid laner out, taking their turrets, shoving them up to tier 2, and then free wards in the enemy jungle.
Well, we'll see if he can do it again. Here it is, KT versus SKT. Who's gonna take it? Let's get in the game and find out. SK Telecom fans and KT squaring off in the audience as KT and SKT square off on Summoner's Rift. Game number 3. I'm glad it went to game 3. Great game 1 by KT. Fantastic game 2 by SK Telecom. And now we have this.
Aw, we love you too.
Yes, that's right. Nothing but love for anyone who comes all the way to Seoul, South Korea. There's a stun onto Peekaboo. Wow, that's a lot of damage early. They get the flash from Peekaboo.
Well, Bang was cutting him off there, so
there's a wave goodbye with the flay.
Now, Peekaboo had the same positioning at level 1 in the last game, so actually they just reacted to it. They thought Peekaboo would be in that same forward brush, and they were able to surprise him with the stacked anti-W, so that's something that most likely Coma let them know about in between games. And told them to run that level 1.
That's a good point.
Actually, they saw the ward go down into that brush in the last game, too. But that's a nice adaptation. I mean, free flash for the Ignite, you'll take that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. In the meantime...
Ooh, standard lanes.
Yeah, Shen really far up in the enemy jungle right now. Someday kind of hanging out.
He's just trying to disrupt sapling stacking, which he did successfully. Might pay for it a bit. See if Faker wants to use the mana on the death ray. He does.
Yep. It's going to make it a little bit annoying for Someday, but shouldn't cause too much trouble.
Yeah, it's nice. So they're just going to start lane even for all intents and purposes as the top laners head up there, making sure that there's not an XP advantage for the Maokai.
Yep.
And now Arrow hoping to raise his sub 40% win rate on this Corki. His worst out of his 4 most played champions.
You know, and if you think what a good time to try to do that would be, against SK Telecom in Game 3 is probably not it. Whoa, Wolf being very aggressive here, taking some damage, but really zoning Arrow pretty hard. There's a stun onto Peekaboo for some trading. Don't really need to hold that for too long at level 1, just to make sure you secure that level 2. Looks like they will get that, I think, slightly before KT will. Yep, there we go. Is that a Chroma Lucian skin?
Oh boy!
Oh wow, our first Chroma skin.
It's not.
He's red.
It's the first one that you've been here for, Dom.
Oh wow. I feel owned right now. Oh, 95% win rate is pretty good for Marin's Maokai, and he is one of the best Maokai players out there.
That's only domestic play too. He's 23-1 all time.
Yeah. Score being very irritated by Bengi here in the jungle. Bengi stealing some of the smaller minions at the red camp.
It's just weird to me. I mean, this is actually, it's not weird to me. This is just the conundrum that SKT presents, right? So you want to take the Maokai.
Wow, he gives it up. Oh.
Well, what is he going to do? Faker's going to run in there.
Yeah.
So is Wolf. This is what happens when you have this lane dominance on the bottom side. You open up the map, so they actually have to give up the red buff. Score still has an opportunity to perhaps contest this. I mean, Bang is alone, so he takes the worst end of a trade.
Gets that little XP advantage, though.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah,
oh,
that's right.
risky.
Score coming in. Faker, oh, there's a stun onto Wolf. Wolf exhausted. First blood, though, goes to Wolf as he manages to take out Score. SKT chasing. Nagne can be in a little bit of trouble here. The knock-up onto Nagne, and there's a kill for Faker to start things off. Bengi pulled nearly under turret, but it looks like they'll be fine. Oh, there's the anti-stun onto Peekaboo, and Marn picks up a kill. Oh, man, it is absolutely calamitous for KT here in the early part of this game. I don't think I've ever used the word calamitous in a broadcast before, but I'm glad I got to use it once, and I think that was a good time to use it.
It was a great time to use it. KT, they thought maybe they could turn that around, but unfortunately SKT was already there in advance by the time Score tried to make that body slam play, and Nagne just didn't have the follow-up. But against a Victor and an Annie, fighting in some of these jungle chokes is a terrible play on early on.
Yep.
And that is exactly why. So KT, they got a little too big for their britches. Now they're 2K in the hole. Faker is 1-0-2 on this Victor, where he just shows absolutely no mercy with an advantage on this champion. He will just take over the game by himself.
Yeah, this is exactly the opposite of what KT needed to have happen in this game. This is a nightmare.
I mean, I understand why they would try and make that play, but their coordination just wasn't good enough to pull it off against the already grouped up SKT. And the fact that there were just 2 stuns sitting there in a choke point between Annie and the gravity field from Victor, you just don't have that level of control. We can also point to the fact that Someday TP'd super late, tried to get away without TPing, but then had to use it onto the turret. He was afraid that the dive was coming through.
Speaking of dives, I thought Bengi was maybe going to try for something with Nagne's flash down in the mid lane, but he may just decide to do it after he takes Wolves.
Oh no, this is the point where if you're SKT, all you do is start deep warding with Bengi. You know you have an advantage over Score, and this means Faker can just wave clear very aggressively, start to auto the turrets, and you want that chip damage so that Faker can start roaming.
Well, mission accomplished so far. Nagne keeping up on CS, of course. Not too surprising. Giving Marin that kill in the top lane as well, too, is going to be very nice for SKT. Just picks up that second ring, and there's just nothing Someday can do with that low wave clear against a Marin that's ahead of him in lane already.
Yeah, and especially this Shen, too. How is he going to get back in the lead? I think that Someday has been overly hesitant in this best of 3 to use Stand United to make aggressive plays or to dive. If you have that shield, you might as well go for Peekaboo.
Grab onto Wolf.
Score.
This could be a bit of a trouble. They're going to bring Score in as well. Nagne coming from the side. Yep, I think Wolf is in big trouble. Score picks up a kill. And Wolf learns the danger of warding, the danger of walking through your own jungle.
Well, I mean, Peekaboo somehow got behind him. You can't reasonably expect, I think, a Thresh to be sitting there waiting for you.
That just happens, man.
It was a clever play by Peekaboo, and Score was there to back him up so that at least they get a kill. They're still staring that 1,500 gold deficit in the face, though.
Yep. So Sightstone for Peekaboo, which is going to be very nice to have at this point. Bang will just push the wave with the culling. And it looks like Faker's going to get his blue buff. No problem. So who will get that first dragon, though? That's the question. With a 1.5 gold lead, 1.5k gold lead so far, you'd think it'd be SKT again this time around.
Yeah, you really would, especially since they have this Lucian and they have that pressure. In addition to now having the advantage in the mid lane, they can really dictate when this dragon is taken.
Pretty much. Score there just to try to protect Nagne a little bit. He'll be okay.
And Marin just going down, getting another deep ward. Bengi pretty free to do whatever he wants right now. He can try and clear out this pit perhaps once his lens comes back up. They could just try and solo the dragon. It might be a bit dangerous without some vision control first.
Oh, they're going to go in, and Arrow in a little bit of trouble here. Gets exhausted. They're going to throw the exhaust onto Bengi as well from Peekaboo.
Here comes
Wolf trying to do something. Someday not hesitant to teleport in there. Another knockup. Peekaboo trying to escape it. Here comes Faker fighting in a choke again. Bengi going to barely live, and that's another kill for Faker. Wolf trying to power up that stun, but he's not going to find it on Arrow. You just can't fight in those narrow spaces against a Victor, and Faker made it down there so fast.
He gets down there extremely quickly, like you said, Doa, because he has the pressure on the mid wave. And Someday committed to that, really, for the first time we've seen in this game. It was a near kill. Unfortunately, Arrow was just out of mana. And now the teleport has to be used back into the top side. Marin has TP advantage, so this should be a dragon for SK Telecom.
Yeah, with that bottom lane pushed up by Bang's ultimate, they can probably go and take it pretty much whenever they want to. Everybody grouping up now.
Well, SKT may want to actually back first and pick up some items for Bang before they do this, but I guess they're not going to do that. Bang faking the recall, but Arrow actually taking that bait, recalling himself, gets a Sheen and some parts of a Phage. And SKT looking to set this up.
Well, they really want to clear out all these wards, but it's going to be tough to. Ah, nice, avoiding that grab. That was a good bait from Peekaboo, actually. A lot of times you can do that, is throw the ward down to get him to come closer to take it. Nice try. SKT spending some time getting the vision down, but they're going to wait a little bit for that dragon, it looks like. Here comes Someday. Trying to get behind Faker.
Faker knows that distance very well, though, so can't find that angle. And Nagne didn't want to commit with the flash. Of course, Someday wasn't anywhere close enough to be able to follow up on that.
Well, it's so risky to try a play like that when you know Dragon is still up and your opponent's team has just gotten vision over it, too. It's a bit dangerous.
I'm a bit surprised about that recall timing. Seems like SKT, if Bang had left a little bit earlier, would have had the opportunity just to go straight for the dragon.
Seems like they're playing it exceptionally cautiously this game.
I mean, look at this. They're just trying to bait them. They keep denying the vision. Here comes Score. He's going to have to check it with the barrel. But he doesn't see that that dragon is going down. And Bengi now just sitting on top of his red buff. Score has no idea he's there.
Doesn't look that way.
Yes, the patience of the Bengi.
Wait for it, wait for it. Oh, time for Dragon. Never mind.
Yep, well, we know it's going down now. Faker is seen by a ward in the river. Remember, Marin has CP, but Someday now has Stand United back up. Well, look at all the chip damage onto that tower. Shen just has no wave clear in the early game.
Yep. And so an easy first Dragon taken by SK Telecom, already jumping out to a cool 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, waiting till they know Score is occupied, where Marin has the freedom to roam down without losing any CS, and if Someday were to TP, he was going to lose a wave into the turret, so it eventually is taken by SKT. Their patience pays off, and they get it absolutely uncontested.
That's right. Bang. Oh, he's caught up in CS just fine. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? SK Telecom from here on out. Probably just going to play it fairly safely, fairly slowly, and take the fights that kind of come to them out of desperation from KT.
Yeah, you have to believe that. So Righteous Glory now finished for Marin, as we're seeing on the screen right there. Of course, it has been nerfed just a little bit in this patch 5.13.
Just a little bit. Come on, man. All that health loss and the cooldown.
Yeah, it was
crazy, man.
It was a big nerf.
That was a big nerf. Just a little bit.
You called me out, it's true. Huge nerf.
Sounds like the words of a jungle main to me. Yeah.
You don't like being the, you like being the super tanky support?
That's right. Enjoyed it. Talisman gets me where I need to be, though. It's fine. Now I can just have more of an excuse to build damage.
More AP all the time.
Yep, that's right.
Kill those suckers who try and build the nerfed Righteous Glory, because they don't have any HP anymore, so it makes your AP items that much more effective from the support position.
Dude, just get Rylai's as a support now. A little bit of tankiness, and you get to slow people a ton. It's great. In fact, if I read the patch notes right, Tibbers' AoE damage would actually slow because it says your pet's activated too now. So.
Yep.
So even after the stun wears away, you can just keep them slowed by keeping Tibbers on him.
Well, we'll see if Wolf builds it this game. Something tells me he'd rather have a Righteous Glory.
Just get the Talisman. Talisman into Rylai's. More health.
The
better
dream build.
Slows. That's right. So I'm going to go for it.
Because if there's one thing you need to do, it's actually survive on Annie. She really makes a big difference while she's running around the fight with no cooldowns.
If you get the Rylai's, you can do that damage. You can survive, and then it is important. Marin trying to survive as well. There's a flash headbutt. Whoa, twist advance right back in there. Marin has the flash. Still hasn't used it. Very, very low, backing away, and he doesn't even need to burn the flash.
Has the glory to help him out, and that's enough to escape.
I guess so. Well, Culling not doing a lot to Arrow, but it does force him away from the turret. A little bit more damage onto that one.
Well, Nagne actually holding his own in the mid lane. Thanks to his playing of Azir, he hasn't actually been bullied too much by the Victor. I'd love to see the tower HP on KT right now, but I don't think I'm going to get my wish.
Nope. Sorry.
It's time for dives.
Do dive. Here we go. Peekaboo and Arrow. Can they stop this? Tibbers dropped immediately. Peekaboo blowing up very, very fast. He's still alive for now, though. As Shen comes in, they're going to get Thresh first. Peekaboo still goes down, and here comes Faker to clean everything up. Bengi can kind of stay out. Someday an Arrow into the turret scores there as well. So SK Telecom backing off for the moment. They got one kill, and now the bait begins. Oh, boy. There's wards there, so they know where they are. Nice try.
That wasn't going to work, unfortunately. With that ward in the river, they would have seen people exit Tribrush if they were
Unless
actually
they
going
went
to
through
be
your jungle.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to do that with 5 people, though. If no one comes out of that Tribrush,
it's a bit suspicious, isn't it?
I think you could be a little bit concerned.
It was a nice try.
But again, Faker down there before Nagne can get there. His team setting up those plays well in advance. I mean, Bengi and Wolf were sitting there setting up that gank for a solid minute before they actually tried to execute it. Of course, Someday does have TP up now, so there is that factor. SKT going to be swapping Lucian into the top side, interestingly enough.
I guess so.
Very weird to see this lane assignment a minute and a half before Dragon.
Wow, Faker goes all in on a Nagne. The Chaos Storm not going to be quite enough unless he flashes for it. Nope. Thought maybe we were going to see the Flash Summoner Heal Death Ray there to finish him off, but...
the old classic. Well, Marin in big danger of getting dove.
Yeah, but it looks like the top turret's going to go down, so even if they lose Marin, it's not bad. He's going to go on to Arrow, push him back towards the turret, force the Valkyrie early on, and that may cost Arrow quite a bit, as a lot of members of SK Telecom are coming in behind Score and Peekaboo. They get him out on the Lantern, but SKT right there. Okay, not quite close enough, though. Faker's just going to take the opportunity to do a lot of damage to that mid turret.
So the lane assignment of Lucian into top was so that he could get some more gold, get the tower down, because they knew they had a wave building up there right before the Dragon was going to spawn. So actually very nicely played by SKT, pick up some more advantages, and they don't have to sacrifice anything at all when it comes to this Dragon. It had already been chipped out so heavily by Marin.
Yeah, Bengi just taking the rest of Score's jungle, too. SKT in pretty complete control of this game.
Yes, they are. They picked for the lane dominant matchups. They've been rewarded with a 5K gold lead already by 18 minutes.
It's too bad Lucian is such a bad champion. Otherwise, they would have won by now.
Yeah, terrible. Absolutely awful.
Only ahead in CS and kills and single-handedly pushing down turrets. Wow. What a weak champion that Lucian is.
I don't know where that thought came from. It's so weird.
Win rate in one region's bad, so it must be bad everywhere.
Yeah, well, win rate with Rengar last year in LCS was terrible, but meanwhile, Dandy was absolutely wrecking fools with him, so.
Simple if-then statements. Oh, not quite catching anyone with that death sentence. SKT, they're going to follow up on this. Bang coming in. Just pushing KT away from that dragon. Wow, Peekaboo taking a lot of damage, and the culling. Peekaboo trying to dodge it, and he nearly goes down, but some fancy footwork, and he doesn't get culled.
All right, that was the nice tremor sense culling right there, trying to track people.
It works.
Very funny.
Yeah. All right, well, Peekaboo lives to fight another day, but SK Telecom going to take their second dragon, it looks like.
Very easy. With all that control on the bottom side of the map, they don't have anything to worry about. They also managed to get control over top side.
Uh-oh, Bang in a little bit of trouble, dodges a rocket. There's the Scrying Orb, though. Wolf trying to come in to save his AD carry. They get the flash out of Wolf.
Yeah, flash and Summoner's Heal used from Bang and Wolf. So
still, though, SKT gets the dragon, doesn't lose anybody. Not too bad.
Yep, but the mid lane turret also going down to SKT. They immediately pop an Azir turret in there just so they can secure their own blue buff. If that Azir tower didn't go down, then probably a loss of the blue buff for KT, as Faker would be very easily able to walk in there and contest it. Blue buff going to awkwardly slide back into his pit without moving his feet.
He's wearing roller skates now. Kind of a little bit of fun, you know? Golem skates. Boulder skates. Well, KT in a bit of a predicament at the moment, to say the least. So when do you start baiting Baron? Probably about now.
Yeah, maybe a bit early.
Start to grab some vision, at least.
We'll see. I think if you're SKT, you're perfectly happy with this dragon lead. And now that the mid turret's down, the Azir passive is on cooldown, this is where you can start to dive more and more and more. Marin has his teleport up. You already have this edge. You have the Trinity Force, you have the anti-stun locked and loaded. Why not just start to press forward and then make plays onto Arrow's Corki? Here we go.
Yeah, there's teleport coming in from Marin just to secure this tier 1 turret in bot lane, and they will. So that is all 3 outer turrets taken by SK Telecom and no turrets taken by KT yet.
Yeah, that is a huge factor in this gold deficit that they've accrued to this point.
Yep. Wow, just hammering that tier 2 as well. Faker's on the roam, gonna go up and save his tier 1 in top.
Well, this is the power of Victor, that instantaneous wave clear. Really make sure that you're not going, well, he's just going to use his wave clear out of someday, I guess.
It's about sending a message, Monte Cristo. It's like I don't even need to worry about my turret's damage.
Coming back for KT now is going to be very challenging. They are really losing the vision game as a result of that mid lane turret being down. And
whoa,
Nagde very low after Bang. It's a nice crit in.
It certainly does work. He's got that Infinity Edge now. He's going to be doing a lot of damage.
Home guard boots already for Faker. He really just wants to get back into lane and provide that wave clear. And
yeah, makes sense.
Faker is a very good Victor player, and you can tell that he is, of course, from his mechanics and the way he plays team fights. But for me, the best part about Faker playing Victor is that you just can't stop him from moving from lane to lane and wave clearing, which gives you no chance to come back into the game.
Yeah.
Basically, he plays this lights out style with his champion, and he abuses the wave clear. And it's not just the wave clear, it's the fact that he has the wave clear and it takes 2 people or more to actually kill him, because Victor's damage is so high that he's able just to 1v1 people, or at least he'll do enough damage to make you leave the turret.
That's pretty dangerous.
And then he just autos it. It becomes very simple. And look at the wards. Once the mid lane turret goes down, they get the wards in. Now they're just going to try the Baron.
Wow, yeah, 23-minute Baron, and so far KT has no idea. They're going to give up the tier 1 and bottom for it. I'd say at this point it's a pretty good trade. Wow, Faker just distracting KT so much, it looks like they're going to get it unless score comes in right now. And he's zoning. Wolf trying to keep him away. They're going to get the stun down. There's the gravity shield. Score barely body slams out in time, but it is a Baron for SK Telecom.
Just incredibly deceptive and incredibly smooth. You have Lucian, he just got the static shift, you've got enough damage, and you have the tankiness with the Maokai to take that objective. So go ahead and do it. Wow, Faker even chips away the tier 2. SK Telecom coming in with some very impressive macro play, and this is why you just can't let Faker have Victor, because you just can't get him off your towers.
It seems like every game, though, at some point we say, this is just why you can't let Faker have X champion. And, like, at what point, what do you do? Other than just kind of roll over and die.
It's tough. I mean, Nagne held on longer than a lot of other players have to that mid lane tower, but
certainly, yeah.
Ultimately, it just wasn't enough, and now Someday had to flash out of that little engagement as Bang starts to run rampant through the enemy jungle with the Baron buff and the red buff.
Yep, he can do it every once now as well, too. They've got so much wave clear. They can push all of these lanes so fast.
Yep.
Varn pushing bottom as well.
There's not really great wave clear from this Shen, so as long as they execute a 1-3-1, not going to be very problematic.
Yeah. And Arrow's Corki has just been non-existent this game, too. A lot of damage onto that tier 2. And Marin, Someday just can't stop him. There goes the turret. Wow.
He's got some magic resist now. He's able to withstand Shen.
Yeah, you can't just ignore him. Whoa, trying to go in. Chaos Storm drop. Peekaboo in a lot of trouble. Exhaust onto Marin. Arrow goes deep, gets brought in actually. Faker with a kill there. I don't know what Corki was doing in that situation. And SKT gonna catch somebody right on the edge of the base, but not quite kill him. They'll take out the tier 2. Whoa, Faker manages to pick off Nagne before being moved over by the explosive cast. Now they're gonna go in on to score. Prey Seeker hits him, but it's gonna be an inhibitor for SK Telecom.
Yeah, 25 minutes into this one, inhibitor already going down. SKT just making the most out of this Baron buff.
Wow.
Bang, not really threatened, even though there's armor on Shen, has gone for the QSS. No taunting from Shen onto him will be successful, and Faker just gobbling up more of the map right now, easily.
Well, we talked about this happening right after Faker got that first kill of the game. I mean, if you let him get ahead, this is what he will do on this champion.
Oh, they're going to try and TP play onto him.
Yeah, Wolf and Faker there, though. Wolf should have the stun fairly soon. Someday trying to make a kill there. There's the stun for Wolf. He can use it whenever he needs to. They might not even need to, though. They're just going to back away.
Yeah, he's got the movement speed from the Q, so there's no need to dump it.
Yeah.
Maybe they can dive this, actually. Wolf doesn't have Tibbers.
Power to Recall is going to get him out of there so fast.
Well, also, Bengi just void rushed into that side of the jungle, so that made a dive attempt significantly less attractive. And if you're KT, you have to make some kind of play right now. And also, that's a good time to do it, because you know that even though there's a huge cold lead for SKT, they haven't actually spent a lot of that money because of how many turrets they just recently knocked down.
True.
So, in terms of amount of money actually contained within items that has been used and turned into statistics, wasn't that bad, but
it is now.
It is now.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and that's a 12,000 gold lead. So SKT even farther ahead this game than they were last game. That is it. Marin might as well just start tossing saplings into the goal in his head. Kind of hanging out.
Just scoring against himself.
I guess so.
Well, I don't know what to say anymore, Doa. I think that KT was the last real chance for somebody to stop at least SKT from going undefeated in the regular season here.
Right.
They played a damn good game one.
Teleport
they really
coming in
did.
from Marin. Unless SKT gets really lazy in these coming matches, they are going to go undefeated in the regular season. They're going to go right on to score, completely catching him. Pretty tanky, though, so he's going to make it out for now. Someday burns his ult, though, to do that. And that's going to be another inhibitor down in favor of SK Telecom. And KT just can't engage. So much damage coming in from, like, basically everybody on SK Telecom.
Yep, and they're just methodically shutting this game down. KT only able to get that single kill this game.
Yeah.
And they've just fallen so far behind. And SKT just really got the ball rolling with that fight in the enemy jungle. They did an intelligent invade, one that KT really wasn't able to contest. KT overcommitted to a fight that they didn't really have much hope of winning.
Whoa, Marin really on his own here, and everybody's going to jump onto him. Box used, a lot of ultimates burned for this. Bengi going to come in to try to save them. Fairly tanky, though. Marin is still alive. His health is not moving anymore. Wow, okay. Bengi just backs away. Marin's like, yeah, man, I was fine. Thanks for coming, but I didn't need you.
Meanwhile, Bang and Faker on the bottom
Whoa.
side.
Faker, Bang gets pushed in by Nogne's ultimate. They actually get the kill on it, but Chaos Storm doing a lot of damage to Nogne, nearly taking him down. They got Bang.
SKT getting a little bit greedy. They're trying just to distract people on the top side while they take the bottom, but Nogne makes a play. Didn't even have to use Flash. Was down, it was on cooldown at the time, but he still manages to get Bang into his turret.
Yeah, a bit of an error there. But they've certainly got room for error at this point.
Well, it's going to be about it. Everybody going to recall at the moment for SKT. Just go ahead, get some more items. Make sure that they're that much further ahead.
Yeah, and when Baron comes up in 45 seconds, SK Telecom is going to be very, very ready to take that. Oh, Faker with the Giant's belt. Rylai's. It's pretty good with Death Ray. Get the slow off of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think he also just wants the survivability right now. If he can't be bursted down, then there's nothing going to stop him from doing sustained damage over the course of the team fight. Certainly, Rylai's not an item that we typically see on Victor, but it does give him increased chasing power with that Q. Basically, his dueling is ridiculous because you'll be slowed and he'll speed up. You cannot run away from him.
Yeah, he'll have more health and more catches. Catchability.
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 Just add it to the League of Legends dictionary right there.
That's right, we need a separate one. Oh, someday. Comes in. Death Sentence to Peekaboo. Quite connecting, and here we go. SK Telecom coming in onto this one. Marin gets flayed away, but they do catch Nogne. Bang in a little bit of trouble. He's going to go down again. Nogne picks him off, but then Faker gets him with the Chaos Storm. Someday flashing on the wall. Faker's going to go ahead and chase. Going to turn on to Arrow. There's a double kill for Faker. Goodbye, Peekaboo. You are in big, big trouble now. Triple kill for Faker. They're going to keep going. They can just end it right here, I think.
Yeah, super minions in the base, but Faker still wants this.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to get it.
No. No Penta. No Quadra or Penta. But there we go, the Nexus turrets. Marin just zoning while his team takes it. And so, a very strong game number one. Woo! A very strong game number one from KT to make SKT sweat a little bit. But in the end, SK Telecom T1 will take the match with a 2-1 victory. There it is, GG.
Well, that was the first time that anyone has made SKT sweat this season. It was the first time anybody had taken a game one against them. SKT had to make some decisions, come back. KT just couldn't respond. And it was a very interesting series, especially game one and game two. This last game was tough on KT Rolster, but they honestly gave SKT more of a run for their money than anybody else has.
Yeah, last game was pretty one-sided, but again, you can't make those mistakes early against Faker's Victor, otherwise you see exactly what we just saw.